Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode 16 of Ndisco's Village Meeting Podcast. Your hostess, Dr. Marcellina and Ndidi, M.OPARAOJI. I, during the course of Easter and the Holy Week, I posted a whole lot of stuff um, about Catholic Church and Christianity. And a lot of people um, enjoyed it, and they let me know that. And some people were wondering, okay, you are really into religion a whole lot. You didn't share anything else but that. Well, no apologies to that. I wouldn't apologize because I always have shared who I am from the beginning. First of all, I am my father's daughter, and I'm proud of that. He taught me all of that. I remember I could share with you today. And despite the fact that that took him away from us at a younger age, I still remember all his teachers. And my mom, Mother General, who, you know, into many more years later, in her soft voice called Teach More, her quiet demeanor. And many of you now know, I've shared also that I got married early, not because of anything else, because I had so many suitors. And believe it or not, I used to be beautiful and smart those ages. And so I had many suitors. And it was really great to find someone who, the potential that we could grow up together as students, which we did. And I found myself really lucky to uh, be, the teachers that my parents stopped at were picked up by these two wonderful individuals, my mother and father-in-law, that treated me as their child and not as a daughter-in-law, and shared a whole lot of their own wisdom. And I get to know them, many decades, loved them and they loved me. And these four people, I will always do the best I can in my own way to remember them because they were great people in my life, teaching and all that. And as I get older and into my years, I also benefit from friends. And, I also married to somebody that I could learn from, and, and hopefully he learned some things from me. And now to the young ones who teach and I learn and they listen to me while I say something. And, I couldn't ask for my son who, a better person who, in advance of his age, he could attend to higher echelon than his dad and I ever did. And he's becoming now the elder who will push me towards things that I am not even comfortable to learn or do. So I take all that in good stride. And everybody around me, siblings, in-laws, and all that, friends, well-wishers, and that's who I am. And then the next step is I am Igbo by tribe, and there's no apology to that as well. And apart from being Igbo also, and before that, I am, apart from the first step of my being, my that I have explained to you, I also come from a great community that and many will always swear or ask God to send us back to in our reincarnation. It's the Mbise community. And I can't say enough of that. And my fanatic nature of that community makes my friends and outside people know that I'm from Mbise, and they always call me Adam Mbise every order is out there. So I'm proud of that. And then come to the next step of being from the Southeast and being from Africa, West Africa, and being then a daughter of the globe, a global student. So all these make me who I am. So, and another step that I will always be proud of is that I am Catholic. I am Catholic. I will always be Catholic. I love its teaching. It's not without flaws, let me tell you. And I'm one of those who will point out, hey, why are we doing this or why don't it? Could somebody explain? And like the last one I wrote and put out there on Facebook is asking the question of, does everybody know why we do what we do during Mass? And I was able to find something to that help. But at the same time, I also mentioned that I am Igbo. That means we cannot lose track of our traditional culture. And so this question came from a young person who, after looking at all the things that I was sharing for the Easter, they asking, was Christianity there from the beginning? Um, did we have any other religion before the advent of Catholicism or Christianity? And I said, yeah, we had Igbo traditional religion. And that is the topic for today. We are going to share a little bit of what I know, what I found out. I don't know much about it. And we did it, I know it was mentioned in school growing up, but nobody has delved into it. But I want to make just a connection as to where we all meet. Um, Despite the fact that Christianity is trying to push away some of this notion or these things that are really ours to continue and propagate from our ancestors. It doesn't take away one from the other. They too should really work hand in hand. Just like I was shared that there are certain things in Christianity or Catholicism that should be left behind or should be moderated or modified. So also it's in our traditional religion aspect or our tribal ways of living. So let's get into it. I was asked the question, is there any other religion that we had? And I had to acknowledge that we do. We do have that. And um, we call it the Igbo Traditional Religion. If I could move my picture out of the way. So the question is, are we, is this form of religion or system still practiced, part of Igbo land? Yes. Christianity does not replace it, majority of it, at least. So what does that mean? I'm going to delve into that. So that people would know, or especially the young ones will know that we had one, we still have one that, nothing else takes away from. So when we talk about the Igbo traditional religion, and this is the aspect that I come from, we're talking about the core aspect of it. We are asking about the deities and everything there too. And the question continues, what is it? And the way we look at it is that it is a system called, a religious system called Omenala or Ordinane. It depends on which way and in southeast part of Nigeria that you come from. That's just the pronunciation. And some people even have other, grounded aspects that they call the same thing. Omenala, Omenane, Ordinane, and all that. Now, this is the fun part. Many have described this as monotheistic, which is the belief in one and worship of only one God. And I will tell you how that confuses a lot of people or some people when it comes to Igbo traditional religion. And then some people describe it as polytheistic. That is the belief in or worship of multiple gods, little gods or deities. And pantheistic, which is the belief that God and the universe are one and the same entity, and which implies that nature, the universe, the world, and all things are inherently divine. They're all in one. And so this Igbo traditional religion is a belief system of my people of the southeast part of Nigeria, which is deeply integrated into our daily life. And we're going to share with you how. Focuses on balancing life, the community life, and there's a connection between the spiritual and the natural worlds. So the Igbo person believes that nothing is just out of ordinary. Everything is connected. Okay. So before we get there, when we talk about monotheistic, the Igbo person, or Ndigbo, the plural of Igbo person, one Igbo person becomes Ndigbo. We have been told severally not to call Igbos. That's not our thing. We're not Igbo, I-B-O. No, that's the language. So we're Igbo, Ndigbo. We're the Igbo people. So when we say we are monotheistic, we believe in one God, is that we believe in the one only God. But then when we think about it in the aspect of polytheistic, as you know, we believe that we cannot just go straight to this big God. There are messengers he left all over the place that we can go to carry our message to the big and only God, the monotheist, the mono one, the one big one. And when we look at it also as pantheistic, that is, that universe and one and everything is the same entity. Yes, because we believe that even the living things, non-living things, even the stone, they can carry that message to God, the big one, the one only that we all believe in. So this is the thinking. While in the Christianity aspect, we believe there are three persons in one God. Okay, this is the way I understand it. We pray through Jesus, through Mary, through everybody, to this one God. And so this is the Igbo belief that we cannot go straight to this being that is, super up there, but we're going to have people going to it. So if you ask about the origin of this system, it's older than Christianity, really. So according to a few schools of thought, they pointed to Nri Kingdom, and some of you have to go back and research, especially you, the young ones, go back and research this. What is Nri Kingdom all about? It has a whole lot history to that. But this is around 948 AD or thereabout. They looked at Nri Kingdom as the epicenter of Omenala, Omenane, Ordinane, of the Igbo traditional religion. And where the first Ezenri, the king of Nri, began the codification of these rituals. And when we say rituals, in this case, it doesn't mean anything negative. Just like when people hear that we're doing rituals in church or in Christianity, no. We put it that bad connotation. It's not. And the rituals here, again, we are giving some bad connotation. You will see that most of the things that we talk about are not really bad. People just tag them that way. So we're going to explain some of this later. But one thing to take away is that the Ndigbo, the Igbo people, are profoundly religious. Whether they believe in the Wanchi or every other person getting to them, they just they believe. One of the myths or old stories that they used to say is that the big God, the mono big one, that used to be on earth with everybody. But every time somebody is tapping on him or her or it, disturbing and requesting for this or that one night, this thing got mad and got fed up and then went into heaven to stay. And so the only thing we have to do is to ask everybody around, to please help us talk to him up there to see what our problems are. And just a few go to say, please thank him for us or her or it. Okay? Okay. So we move forward. My cursor here, it's always something. Okay, here you go. Thank you. So let us look at the components of the Igbo traditional religion. Okay, we're going to look at the core beliefs, concepts, deities, spirits, and then the structure and practices of Ndigbo when it comes to Igbo traditional religion. Remember, this question is around Christianity, Catholicism. I'm not talking about other denominations, but the aspect that we practice, that I know we practice. The other tribes could have their own, but the only one I'm talking about is the one that I have looked into to maybe get all the components. And this is for awareness. Young people, go deep, understand your tradition, your culture, and what the components are. So, like we say, the monotheistic aspect is that we believe in supreme being, one supreme being, the biggest of them all. The Chukwu, we call him Chukwu, or Chi Ukwu, big God. Chineke or Chineke, the person that really created, or whoever or whatever it is that has created the universe, it's this supreme being. The source, the creator, is seen as too great, being too great to be worshipped directly. That is the respect the Igbo person has for our Chukwu, our Chiuku, our Chineke. And then we have the other, belief in Chi. So everybody has a Chi. That's the Igbo belief, that it's a personal spirit guiding you, individual soul that links you to this divine chi. So your chi could be, or your spirit could be different from A and to B to C to D. Everybody is believed to have his or her own chi. So when you see somebody else living their own lives or whichever way they're doing, they are being guided by their own chi, their own spirit. So this is why sometimes we say, don't imitate others or don't copy from others. You don't even know what their own chi is and what this chi is guiding them in. Okay? And then we have Allah. Allah. Ani. Again, depending on the dialects that are being used, Igbo tribe has a lot of different dialects, let me tell you. But whether it's Allah or Ane, it's Earth's mother goddess, the land we're standing on. It's the earth. We ask through the earth mother to carry our blessings to Chi, carry our prayers. Excuse me. Carry our prayers to our big Chi, the supreme being, because we respect the land that this supreme being has created, and ask the goddess of earth, of Ane, of Allah, to guide on his or her or its behalf for fertility, for morality, for laws of the land. And that is why the Igbo person always takes that land, Allah, seriously, because it's a gift from the supreme being, and it means a lot to us. And that's our well-being, how we feed, how we stay alive. And then there is another one, the Arose or Alose, again, the dialects. These are some of the minor deities that also help the supreme being in the work on earth. They are looked at the lesser spirits, or they are the natural forces that are mediating or between us and the supreme being. And these are held by the Dibia, the priests, the local priests, the traditional cultural priests. And this is why sometimes we call on them to help us talk to the big G. Reincarnation, Ilowa, is another aspect that we look at. Okay. Everybody, I mean, sometimes there are evidences, or there is an evidence to show that somebody reincarnated. I have an auntie, my dad's sister who had a birthmark, a particular part of her body that when I was born, I was told I was reincarnated from her. And I have the same birthmark wherever. And many people have testified to that. But who knows? I never met her, but that's what it said. So we believe in reincarnation, the Igbo person, and we call it Elowa. They will say you are reincarnated from your grandma or your grandpa, and you see people say na or nim and all that. So it's just what it is. Sometimes we can't explain it, but it is what it is. And we believe it's coming from the above, from our supreme being, giving us back what we once loved. Okay. Amadioha. We sometimes use it in the cause. Amadioha Babukwege is like, may the thunder strike you, which is not good to say, but it is what it is, right? Amadioha is another deity, the god of thunder, the god of lightning. And the thing is that this one also, comes into play when it's really fighting for justice. And it's been said that sometimes the natural phenomena will settle disputes. I've heard where people are struggling for land demarcations and where one ends and one begins. And the lightning has really solved the problem of showing them exactly. Go figure. I don't know. So we have a Madio has God of thunder, lightning, and justice. And then we have another called the Kenga, God of strength, little God now, success. It's a masculine deity. And what are these people doing? What are these deities, little gods with a small g doing? They are all helping us carry the message to the great one that we believe we are. It would be a disrespect to talk to our supreme being, the Chuku, the Chiuku, the Chineke directly. So that's what all these people are doing. So when you see people who are like, in the olden days, now Christianity, when they see such happening, they say, oh, this person is worshiping devil or worshiping, many people have looked at it now. That's not the case. They are doing what the Igbo traditional religion is doing for them. And when you go to the villages now, everybody is trying to convert everybody to Catholicism or to Protestant, to whatever church or this, anything Muslim, religion and all that. But we forget that the type of religion that is practiced rural, and people still do that, is not against going through the other aspects towards the same Chuku or Chiuku. It's actually another way of Igbo traditional religion. Others are Ndiche. Ndiche, our ancestral veneration. They are the ones that, we don't worship our ancestors, but we venerate them, believing they watch over us, the living. They protect us and act as our intermediaries. They also carry our, let me call it our wahala and our gratitude to the big chi. And that's when sometimes we see people pouring libation for them, beckoning them, in events and any activities that are traditional, cultural, for them to be present. Why? We want them to carry all our requests up. Okay? We have what do you call it now? Idemili. Idemili is the goddess of deep waters. Again, we deal with the sky, we deal with the land, we deal with everything. We also find life in water as a source. We believe somebody or something or someone created the waters for us. And so we are asking that little God, the small g of that water, keeping an eye on the water for the big G to carry also our request to the big G. We see it as water is always purity. We look at it as purity, it's sacred. You find some sacred pythons or something, some things living in water that we don't even touch. because they also have a right to live in those places, God-given as well. We see Njoku Ji is the deity for yams. And we see that manifest when we, during Ahajoko, or people call it Ahajoko, and this is when new yams come up. Somebody is looking over that agriculture, the god, the small g of agriculture, of harvests. And we pay tribute to that. That is why in my Mbise a community, August 15th of every year becomes a day that we devote to this Njokuji, to say thank you to whoever it is, that supreme being out there, through the small g of Ayajoko, to take our prayers or our gratitude for New Year, for the provision of all this that will nurture us to whoever gave it to us, the big chief. And that is that one. Agunsi. Agunsi is the deity of health. So some people have had the notion that that is a bad thing. It's not really. When you look into the history or the literature, and for me to be able to come up this, I compared and contrasted whatever it's out there. So Agunsi is the deity of health, divination, healing. So we deal with that, and our local priests and those who deal with the herbs and all that, they also help us, on the roots herbal help us do that. Then we have the Anyanwu. Anyanwu is the god, small god of sunshine, representing sun deity, and it's just the eye of the sun. And we derive so much from the sun that we cannot ignore that somebody is keeping an eye on that, asking God to give it back to us or to restore it when we lose it and all that. So that's with that. Ekwensu is a deity. And believe it or not, I was cracking up when I read that. I'm like, when ordinarily growing up, we hear of Ekwensu, even in the church. We say Ekwensu is the devil. No, but it does not mean the evil one. In Igbo traditional religion, Ekwensu is not the evil one. It is actually of a crafty nature. It's a cunning one. It's equated wrongly, and in that aspect, by colonial influence. The people who brought the church and whatever, are telling us Ekwensu is the evil, the devil. No, it does not mean that. In Igbo context, it is actually one that gives us more than that. Is the spirit of war. It's a defense of saying this thing is bad. And go do more research in that. Obunabale is actually the one we should look at as the deity of night time. It associated with death, but with justice. It doesn't just kill. It is associated with death, with justice. It placates. But then it's done at night. That's why it's called Obunabal. Obu means killing, Abale means night. Evil spirit, Mojo, is another one that is a deity that we look at as, no, it's not good. This is one, the evil spirit that is really the bad one, because Mojo means bad spirit, bad evil. We see Mau as also another day, the masquerade. This is where, we the justice again deals with that. And the spirit is represented by this, is a spirit represented by masquerades. They settle disputes. They uphold the tradition. And we see that when they play during all the festivities, and you see all types, all styled in different aspects of what they stand for. So that's part of that. Then let us look at the structure and practices of Igbo traditional religion. And all these, there is more to those. I just am going according to my time and breaking it really a little down, not completely down. Just each of these topics could be a whole book. So I want you, the young ones, to really look into this more than I have. So we talked about Omenala, Omenane, Ordinane. It's a cosmos. The cosmology of that is that the universe is divided into four components or constituents. Okike, the creation, where we have the supreme being, the Chukwu acting up there. That's the holder, the owner of this. We have other people, the goddess or gods or goddesses of the small g, Arose, Alose. These are the supernatural forces that help the Okike. And then we have the spirits, the ancestors. Some could be good and some could be bad. It all depends on what they are fighting for, justice or otherwise. And then the fourth one is the world we live in, the universe. So these components make up our tradition in Igbo land for under the guides of Igbo traditional religion. And to help them really plan and situate all these beliefs of ours at the market days. The Igbo calendar operates on a 4-day week. Remember, the English one is 7-day week, but Igbo calendar operates on a 4-day week. Eke, Orio, Afo. Afo, some people spell it A-F-O with the dot underneath, but some people do with an R. That's why I did that. And Nkwo. Okay. Each of these is named after the spirits that govern them. So everything in Igbo land is spiritual, is attached to something. It's a continuity of something. It's representation of something, and all meaningful. Okay, so don't ever take anything for granted. Whether you are Christian, whether you Muslim, whatever, the Igbo traditional religion is an entity of its own that really deals with our day-to-day living. We are not going against any God, but we are all going all towards the same supreme being of any religion that you are in. We talked a little bit about Dibia before, spiritual leaders. And this entity lately have been under attack, the Dibias, of leaving what they are supposed to be doing to getting into petty things of now putting concussions for young ones to go do kidnapping or all that. That's not what they originally or historically are known for. They are known as spiritual leaders that they are traditional priests, healers, diviners. They help us interpret messages from the spirit world using things like Afa. I don't know if you go back, if you read Afa, we used to, when we were growing up, in the village, you see that somebody is going through an Afa, the Afa. They put some things, and you got to go through that initiation, and it used to be interesting. So we have a lot of interesting things happening in Igbo land that are now far-fetched. They no longer exist, but it could be brought back. We have Ofonogu, which is justice. It's a little bit like a swearing of oaths and all that. It's the law of retribution and justice. It guarantees those with clean hands to get vindicated. Instead of saying, "Oh, in Igbo land, we bring the Bible for you to swear on." No, the Bible for the Igbo man, the Igbo woman, is the Fonogu, where the elders will, when they hit that gravel on the ground, a swag of Fonogu, that has been built already. So you better come clean before they hammer that. And in some cases, it's been said to really happen, make things happen. when you doubt it or something. So it's part of our tradition. We have rituals, the practices of these rituals are not the ritual word that are connoted to be bad. When you present kola nuts, it's a ritual, there's a process. You go from beginning to the end. If you look at my past episodes, I have shared a presentation of kola nuts and kola nuts, what I meant for. We have the white chalk, nzu. Nzu has its own doing. We will look into that next time, but look it up for yourself because it's like a white chalk that I use in making marks, drawing, and blessing people with, and all that. It's a whole lot. If you go to events, you see libations where the little presentation of drinks that you are giving are being poured a little bit on the floor to have our ancestors wet their lips or their throats because they're invited to these events because we want them to take our blessings or our concerns or whatever to the big chi or to whichever small god that will take it to the big chi. Again, we are all worshiping the same God, but there are different ways. The cantations, the oracle that we all put together. So all these play a huge part in prayer offerings to connect with our spirits or the spirits of the land. Okay. What else is there? So when we talk about all this, I hope I didn't really rush through um, all this that I was talking about, but you could see how rich our heritage is, how rich our traditions are. And when it comes to religion, we are, and this is where I found out people who condemn the Igbo traditional aspects of doing things. No, we are not doing anything that is bad. Our ancestors lived by that, and they believed in truth, justice, and fairness. The tripod that I always love to hammer on people that if you can stand on truth, justice, and fairness, you are getting it right most of the times. And that was what we, our people, stood by and by way of Igbo traditional religion, and still stand by. I could tell you that because when you go into the deep into the villages, you'll still see some people practicing this and trying to bring it back to life. Our Ndieze, the local kings and our chiefs and all those titled people do their best to bring this to life. And when I talk to you about Abibu Mbise in my area, one of their jobs is to call on those injustices by their way of singing of their lyrics. And all these come together. Our market days, you know, they mean something much more than that. And that's why, again, going back to my MBC community, we do our area where are the Christmas celebrations by market days, and we visit each other by market days, and that's why it takes a whole long period for Christmas to be over. So while many Igbo people are now Christians, okay, a lot of them are in so many different denominations brought by colonial masters and the word of Christianity out there and Muslim and all that, Jewish religion and all that. But the traditional Igbo religion continues to influence the cultural identity of my people. Okay, many aspects of this Odenane or Womenala or Womenane are still practiced or nowadays blended with Christian beliefs. Okay, and that's why some people get confused sometimes, like which one are we doing? There's nothing left out. But what I found out is sometimes we see some of our priests or something go to destroy some of these effigies or some of these structures that represent our Igbo traditional religion, unless they are doing something untoward and something against what was established as this religion, they shouldn't be tampered with. We could be encouraged. particularly in ceremonies like the New Yam Festival, the traditional marriages. All these are part of our DNA. All these are part of our things. And especially when we talk about New Yam Festival, and people are trying to talk it down, it's no longer part of we are now Christians. Nobody said you can be Christians, but we got to celebrate the yam. And that is why when we celebrate that, we are saying thank you. It's harvest time, it's gratitude to whoever gave us the yam. And I think Christianity should incorporate into this or find a way to weave into the traditional religion that is already practices that exist. I hope I have done a little bit justice to this. Don't hold me at any bad aspect if I didn't shed all. There's a whole lot to learn about Igbo traditional religion. It should continue. It's still alive. And I hope the young ones will look into that. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise that it's not, it's a juju practice or voodoo practice. No, because if you look at the rest of the world, when you go to Louisiana, they're still doing their Mardi Gras. When you go to Mardi Gras, you will see a lot of different types of dressing and things that are being done and all that. It's some people think, oh, they are no, no, no. They are doing their tradition. Okay. When you go to the Mexico or any other place, they are doing the Day of the Dead. They are celebrating. That's their own culture of thanking God or reminding themselves of that aspect of their culture. But it's not going against religion. So why would we ditch our own for the sake of Christianity? Christianity is still part of our DNA as well as maybe not DNA, but of what we have, accepted. But it shouldn't be a case where we lose what we have. This is me. This is my belief. And feel free to, challenge me or write about it. Again, this is on YouTube and on anywhere you find podcasts. And make your comment, subscribe, please, and share this with your young ones if you find it complete. If not, add to it. Sit them down and let them know. They are eager to learn. We are not teaching enough. But thank you for listening and have a wonderful time. And this is where I say bye-bye. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you. Bye-bye.